out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game. 5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes. Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnop.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as the valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got a spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day.
Hey, how are you?
Every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders.
It's Tuesday here on the program. Hope you're well, wherever you might be. Hit us up.
Big Dog Sports Talk.
Professional door text line, 540-391-0788. McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Thank you, Mark Hunley. 155 Walters Drive. As we broadcast live from our Family Fencing Studios, give them a call. Quote 540-200-8294. FamilyFencingNRV.com. Coming up today, Marva in Miami will join us. Talk about the Final Four, and I think I heard her scream in approval when UConn made the shot at the end of the game to beat Duke. Scot Thomas will join us, the former Virginia Tech softball coach. Actually, he's the guy that started Virginia Tech softball. He is now the head coach at Gulf Coast State College, and Scott just got his 1,000th win. So we'll talk to him. And then Mike Burnop will give us the full recap of the first scrimmage practice. All right, good stuff. And good morning to you and everyone that's out there here today. Yes, those of you, thank you very much, TLB. Good morning, Stephen. So I sent, like I told you I would, I sent a very aggressively worded email to the folks here at StreamYard. Hey, don't know why you randomly decided to change the whole look of the studio without any kind of acknowledgement or any kind of like trial to go through, but I don't like it. I know it's not appreciated, and your content creators would really like to have a little more control over that. So then I come in today, wake up, and I've got my old setup back. Now the new one is an option, and they apologize, saying that they had a kink in their communication system. Therefore, no one knew about the changes. And I mentioned this going into last week, so I wasn't surprised. Remember at the end of last week, I showed you and told you they changed the logo, and it says exciting changes coming. But they didn't tell you what those were. And then I came in here yesterday, and it just, So now, yes, we're back to normal. But at least they responded, which is more than they did really trying to help me when TLB got screwed up. No, Jim, you are weird. To come onto a show at 6:08 and type someone is weird. You are weird. And your butt smells. But I hope everybody's doing well. Good morning, Chris Lester. How are you? So yeah, looking forward to talking to all of our folks, and be good to catch up with Scot Thomas. I hadn't talked to him in a while. We'll get the story of when he started Tech softball, what he was tasked with, and of course, Pete Demore's done a nice job keeping it going and making them very relevant in the NCAA tournament and in the ACC. So softball is an extremely fast rising and growing sport with young ladies. So it's good. It's good. So it'll be good stuff. It'll be good stuff. Great program yesterday. Appreciate everybody who's still responding with Marty and Rags. They just kept going. We could have probably gone for another hour. And I always say this, but man, I tell you what, I just enjoy that so much. And we're very, very fortunate, or I'm fortunate that they come on and have Coach Ragsdale really enjoy it. He talks about, I got a text yesterday from both Marty and Rags and how much they just enjoy it. And Marty says, man, I need that every month. It's such an important thing now. Here he is going to cover the Masters, and he was just talking about the show and what that means when he's sitting there talking to Coach Rags. And it's amazing how Coach Ragsdale just continues to remember everything that happened 50, 60 years ago. I have trouble remembering what happened, last week. But thanks for all the comments. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So we appreciate those guys, and we'll do it again in April. And you can catch Marty coming up from the Masters. He will be around there. I'm not a mega golf guy in any way, shape, or form. I maybe made a couple of half-assed attempts to actually try to play it. I was more of a team sport guy. And then I got into that individual sport. Boxing was something that was important to me. So I never picked up sticks and went around the links. I didn't feel like wasting 5 hours and I wasn't going to be good at it. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on equipment and rounds and green fees and all this crap. So my whole golf as a sports fan was centered around Dad and Jack Nicklaus, kind of like what Marty was talking about with his dad. My dad loved Jack Nicklaus. And I remember watching the 86 Masters as well with the Golden Bear. So I had that and appreciation. Tom Watson, people like that. He had my last name, so I thought, hey, is he somehow kin to me? I don't get checks. Lee Trevino, Greg Norman, and it segued in. I always liked Freddie Couples. I thought he was cool, but I didn't follow it. Don't take the time to watch tournaments. And then here comes Tiger Woods, and I know he's just had another incident where he had a DUI and wrecked another vehicle. Man, his life just went to hell, didn't it? Ever since that night, his wife caught him and beat the crap out of him with a club. He has not had it go his way. But what he created for me was interest in a sport as a fan that I never thought I would have. And I was a Tiger Woods generation golf fan. I never missed, especially a major. If he was wearing the red shirt on Sunday, I'm plopping down and I'm watching. So I haven't really had any kind of fervor since then. There's not really one golfer that I've, latched onto. And then you had the whole live tour crap and the separation and all the accusations and the mudslinging and then it became just, okay, now it's kind of like WWE. So I haven't really still come back to being a guy who, I have to watch golf. But, I will, if the Masters is cool on Sunday and there's a tight race and you've got 2 or 3 guys vying for it, I will watch it. I understand the reverence of Augusta and what it means. I get it. I don't necessarily have a desire to go there. I understand people who do, 100%. If you're a golf guy or gal, sure. I get it. But I don't have to watch it. I'll keep up with it. I think it's cool. I love the traditions. Marty was going through it. I love the fitting of the green jacket. And I think it's cool. We need things like that. I like the reverence of tradition in sport. We've lost so much of it with the modernization, the poorly conceived modernization of sports. Yeah, that's right, Prometheus. It does. It feels like NASCAR now. I respect the hell out of what the NASCAR drivers do. I think Tyler Reddish is he's won 4 races. There's nobody in there that I care about. And Michael Jordan's been very vocal about what's been wrong with NASCAR. And they got away from their core, got away from everything. And he's got a big lawsuit trying to bring them down to earth because Michael Jordan generally loves NASCAR as a car runner. So we lost NASCAR. There's no stars that have any type of national appeal. Let's just say it the way it is. And I think your sport's limited when you don't have anyone who can broaden out from a certain region. When Dale Earnhardt was ruling the roost, he was an international superstar. He wasn't just a Southeastern state superstar. When Jeff Gordon came onto the scene, he was a national superstar. When Tony Stewart moved over from the Indy cars, right? This sport was at the peak. Dale Earnhardt Jr., you name it. It was just printing money and ratings and everything. And now, it's a niche sport to me. If you like racing, if you like the drivers, then sure. You're going to follow it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm talking about from my perspective, and I think from most people's perspective, that's kind of the way we view it. It doesn't necessarily mean it can't be solved and fixed again. Maybe having Jordan in there, he fixed the NBA. He made it an international thing. Maybe he can do the same thing for NASCAR. From the beautiful Mecca of Augusta, Georgia greens, go there before you die. The experience will then be in your soul and genes. BDST is live and online. And I know Morris is a big golfer. Good morning, Morris. And I got your question about my roof, Morris. I'll let you know. I'm going to talk to them today. I'm trying to get the company who finished my roof to become sponsors. That's what I'm going to work on. So maybe we can parlay that into you getting your stuff done. That's my plan. So that's where I'm at with current PGA/live status. I respect the hell out of what they do. They're immensely talented. There's no questioning about that. It's not a disrespect to the ability to go out and control that ball. It's crazy, some of the shots that are made. But it's not part of my sports world, Just like things that I like aren't part of, other people's. But Masters can be a little different, And I do appreciate the reverence and I appreciate the honor of tradition. And I like the fact that a place still has a hallowed feel to it because we've lost so much of that in sports. Looks like 26 will bring us replacement refs. With any luck, Is there anything that I've ever cared any less about than thinking that the officials in the NFL, the ones that are just worse and worse every week and every year, may not be ready in time for the season? It's one of those deals where read the room. This is kind of like the WNBA. They held out. They got all these, I don't know how they're going to pay them all the extra money. Everybody says, well, the new TV deal will take care of it. Okay. Even with the new TV deal in place, you lose $40 million a year. You were still projected to lose over $25 million. And now you're paying more salaries for a sport that only a handful of people actually pay to watch. And the same thing happens in the NFL with these replacement refs. You already have some of the worst reputation of any group of individuals in professional sports. And yet here you are at a contractual impasse. And if the league, which was too short-sighted to not make the referees, the officials full-time, would have done that, we wouldn't be having these issues, and we probably would have a lot better results on the field on Sundays. So color me completely unaffected by the fact that we may have replacement refs, and you may see folks out there that are really trying hard to get it right, that want to make an impact. I hate the non-accountability in life is just, it's gotten to the point to where we're back to a lot of the time in the old ways of, it's not about accountability, even if you screw up mightily. It's about how you're going to protect each other, right? It's about covering up for one another. Oh, wait a minute. If you do this, I'll grease you up some other way. And that's what the NFL does with its officials. They never have to be held accountable. But now maybe they are with the contract impasse. I mean, their performance level doesn't equate them making tons more money. Morris says he's been to the Masters, experienced like no other. Marty's reverence yesterday explaining it says all. Yeah, and if you're a golf person, I understand it completely, 100%. And I don't think you even have to be a golf person. But I think it helps, right? It helps. When Tiger Woods was there, and like Marty talked about too, what he did, was it 99? And that roar, I mean, that didn't matter whether that was Augusta or somewhere else. It was just a moment that still is etched in time. Few things sadder to me, speaking of golf, let's get into it, because I genuinely like Tiger Woods. I like the kind of person that he would come across as during his dominance. I like the fact he'd get so competitive. He didn't care if he hurt anybody's feelings. I mean, he was a killer out there. He was on his way to being the undisputed best player of all time. Many people still think that he is. He's not going to have the all-time numbers, and it becomes a matter of debate between just he and Jack. It comes down to two. But for his time in a more dominant stretch, nobody's been more dominant than Tiger Woods. And then we had that incident where he over the week, how long has it been now? Like a week? He had another DUI, got arrested, had a mugshot, flipped a car. Fortunately, nobody else was involved. I think that's the second or third time that's happened. So what in the world has happened to him? He's clearly got an addiction problem, and he's had that for a while. Remember, he was taking counseling. He had sexual addiction problems, and it's clear that something's just not right. And I wonder if it's because in some part of his soul, when he doesn't need to feel that way, he's not been able to come to grips with the fact that he's not Tiger Woods anymore. When he would just go and immediately almost have tournaments won by just teeing off on a Thursday. Oh, Tiger's here. Who's playing for second? And I just wonder if that's part of it. But I hope if he does need help, I hope he gets the help that he needs. I just feel like this is headed for a tragic story ending if something happens quickly with him. And what a mighty fall for a guy that ruled not only the golf world, but really the sports world. He was probably the closest thing to Michael Jordan that we've had in terms just as a worldwide American-based sport phenomenon. I know we've had soccer, international soccer players have that vibe in their countries and European countries, but I'm talking about American-based athletes. I mean, There's only a few. Jordan had it, and Tiger Woods had it. Yeah, exactly, for me. This after the crash, right? His body started to fail in the first one. Things started to go away, and then he got accused. That's because he stopped being on synthetics. You know, I don't know how much of that was fact or fiction. I mean, if you looked at him back in the day, you could probably go, yeah, he was probably taking something. And for me, it sucks. I hate it. I hate it because I was such a big fan watching him play. Yeah, he's never going to break Sam Snead's record. He's never going to break any of the records. So then it comes down to it. Who was better, Jack or Tiger? Longevity in a career, Jack. For about a 5 to 8 year stretch, Tiger. T-Bird says, I'm not a golfer, just a country boy. Never seen a live broadcast. No, and I never will. No. There you go. Yeah, PGA. I get that. Yeah, you put it on, you hear the birds. It's a soft broadcast. I understand that. I do that sometimes. Yeah, I get it. Tebow says my brother's a big golfer. It's expensive. Yeah, exactly. That's another reason I didn't dive into it. When I started thinking about it, you start looking at prices, and that was a long time ago. I mean, now it's just gotten utterly ridiculous. It is a wealthy man's game. Let's just put it that way. Or a wealthier man's game. Wealthier than Rick man's game. Probably the best way to put it. Yeah. Lots of folks chiming in here on the text. That's great. Thank you for the professional door text line. That's what we are. That's why we have it. That's why we have it. Wood should never have gotten married. Exactly. And I used to argue that on the old radio show. He knew he had a problem with other women. He got married. Why did he get married? And there were stories that he was such a rock star. He was living the life whenever he'd go to a certain town for the next event, right? He had women waiting on him. He got married, couldn't handle it. That changed everything. Agreed. Troy says in Giles County, we have hayfields over golf courses. Pivo says Pirates Cove miniature golf is more at my alley. Yeah, I'm with you. I do love me some miniature golf. Moore says, stop. I has no money, or at least FU money. You have to have a little FU money to go out and spend thousands of dollars on equipment, clothing, greens fees, country club fees. I mean, that's what I call gas and grocery money. That's what I call trying to maintain my studio, money. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for the golfers. I do. And I'll watch some of Augusta. Sure. Absolutely. I won't be glued to every shot. I won't be constantly updating the leaderboard. I hope that on the Sunday, it's going to be, have 3 or 4 guys going at it. That'd be cool. Yeah, it'd be fun. Putt-putt is great. Playing a league on Monday night. Oh, there's a putt-putt league? Really? I like that. Par 3 courses and driving ranges. That's the extent of my golfing. That's where I would be too. Yep. That would be me. T-Bird. That would be me. I wish I were better at it. I do. I wish I could have gotten into it, but I made my choice, right? And I haven't regretted it. Just like I've not regretted Sundown Electric becoming our latest sponsor. One of the best reputations, long list of satisfied clients. to attest to their superior craftsmanship, attention to detail, clear communication, honest, and integrity. Sundown Electric over in Elliston. Ready, Set Fund, ReadySetFund.com. Bob Chris, BOBCRST11 at Gmail. Floyd County girls have used Ready, Set Fund regularly, and they extended what they had last year. They went from $4,000 to $4,300 they raised for new uniforms, for travel fees. It's really cool. It works. Ready, Set Fund. Professional Door Incorporated, Travis Williams, residential commercial garage doors up in Dublin, right across from the New River Community College. 38 years in business. That says it all. And Travis has made this now a very successful regional-based business, and we appreciate him supporting the show. National Bank member FDIC, my exclusive banking partner, the show's exclusive banking partner. I mentioned I was doing some refinancing. We closed it all yesterday. Jamie, you were great down here at the Radford branch. Couldn't be any happier. I'm telling you, if you're frustrated with your bank and you need to get something done, you should reach out to National Bank. They go from Brad DiNaro to Lara Ramsey. I mean, wow. I mean, that's like going from, I don't know, Vince Lombardi to Tom Landry or Joe Gibbs, right? Very little drop off. Lara's great. She's going to take this National Bank to new heights. The attorney, Ryan Pry. I guess it's simple. Who's going to win the Final Four games? Who's going to be in the national championship game on Monday night? 701 West Main Street in Radford, Trust and Estate Planning. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. We're now going to have some warmer days, so you might want to call Charles Lee and say, hey, what about my air units? Can you come check it out? I may need a new one. What do you think? It's not sounding right. He'll give you the best price. He'll send out guys that will explain everything. Nice people that do the best at what they do. They are the absolute best at what they do. Little River Heating and Air. Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment, the presenting sponsor of this program. Speaking of being the best at what they do, what they've done in Pulaski County is just turn it upside down in the best ways possible. Track is up and rolling, and we'll reach out to Jonathan today or tomorrow to see if I can get him on here this week. I've already mentioned it once, but why not again? The chiropractic clinic, so nice, we named it twice. McClellan, Mark Hundley, go see him off of Walters Drive. If you're uncomfortable, if your back hurts, if you got body aches, I'm telling you, he will fix you. He will fix you. And, of course, Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio, 540-200-8294. Thanks to the NRV Super Bowl. They've been serving the community for 25 years. And they always name their bowling superstar of the week. They've made the late nights on the weekends so outstanding. They turn all the lights off. It's just now it's almost like a show, like an amusement park. 382-5525. Reserve your lane now. And Morris, and when we have our big bash with Morris, we're going to have it there at the Super Bowl. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply since 1997. James Lawson served his community, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. You can give James a call, 540-381-8011. And Top Shelf Apparel, 4377 Lee Highway. Sponsors of our T-shirts, and we appreciate them. And if you have any desire to want a BDST T-shirt, hit me up. $20. I had no idea that when you went to other places, T-shirts were so expensive. Matter of fact, somebody yesterday said, do you still have the T-shirt graphic? Let me put that up here. Yes, I do. Boom. There you go. Front and back. I need to put those up on the YouTube page so people can constantly see it. Maybe they can just buy them from there. There you go. All right. That takes care of everybody. Marva's going to join us here coming up. What else do we have here? I agree, Prometheus. Hopefully it's gone. Winter. State tournaments for putt-putt. I'm all about that. Hey, what's up, Big Al? I used to think golfers on steroids was a joke. Then I watched Woods break down physically and convinced he was on. Yeah, me too. He was on synthetics. He portrays every bit the stereotype of a body who came off of them quickly as well. His body completely broke down, betrayed him. Morris says it's a beautiful game. You can play until you are old. Manicured greens, Commodore nature amongst friends. Yeah, I get it. I understand. I mean, all that, the camaraderie. Yeah, I said that right. I understand, Morris. I do. How exciting can it be going to a golf tournament, standing there and not talking, etc.? You mean like the Masters? Yeah, you can't do anything. Come on down to Palm Coast, T-Bird. There you go. First round's on him. The Palm Harbor Golf Club. See, that just sounds expensive to me. Geese, what's up? He says in the past 8 years, Tiger Woods has more DUIs than the Cowboys have playoff wins. Sad but true. Sad but true. Welcome, Geese. Subscribe. Yeah, I think Marva sent me a text. It was funny you say that, Prometheus. When the shot went in, she sent me a text. Could you hear me screaming all the way from Miami? Yeah, she was pretty pleased. We're going to get into all that. John Shire's meltdown. And then yesterday on X, I don't know how these things all of a sudden pop up. Welcome, Geese. Welcome aboard, man. Appreciate you. Subscribe, like, and share the channel, man. We have fun here. We're regional, national sports here in Southwest Virginia, the ACC, SEC. We cover it all. And Marty Smith on yesterday from ESPN. Great guests each and every day. You're always welcome to be part of the program. Our chat is awesome. That's what makes the show for me. Text line as well. So we have fun. We have fun. Yeah, agreed. And I actually went back and watched it yesterday. And we'll talk about it here with Marva. I mean, a 19-point lead and just the way the perfect storm had happened. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, Arizona comes across. They are the best team. I agree. Michigan, Arizona should not be a national semifinal. It should be the championship game. I mean, Illinois is a great story. And anybody who gets to the Final Four deserves it, but it feels like that's a pretty heavy game on Saturday as opposed to UConn and Illinois. T-Bird says that. Thank you for the office, Morse. Thank you kindly. I'm involved in music and grandkids. My golf is on TV. I get that too. No Brian Siegler today. Brian's traveling. Got a little vacay coming up. So we won't have the Seekster today. He'll be back next week. But Mike Burnop will give us a rundown. He was there. Media is not at the scrimmages. Mike Burnop is. So we'll find out. Terry was asking me on the text line about, you know what the best news coming out of spring football is for me is hearing that nobody got hurt. I mean, you want to hear about guys making progress, but I don't sit here and live and die by every report. All that matters is staying healthy, developing some depth, having your quarterback that you paid money to work, and doing it that way. Yeah, how about that? Not a shock. We said this was going to happen on the women's side, and Texas does look really good. All the number one seeds on the women's side advanced. The only one who really kind of had to fight for it was UCLA. UConn looks like a runaway juggernaut. Texas looks like the second best team. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't understand the entire ending of that game from a Duke perspective, Prometheus. And exactly everything we said yesterday, I saw people saying the same thing. They even used my term. I said all you had to do if you were a boozer was just hug the basketball. Bend down, hug the ball. They're going to smack you. They got to foul you because the time's going to run out. All you had to do, and I saw that yesterday. Why didn't you just hug the basketball? You're clearly watching the damn show. That's fine. That's fine. But I don't know, Prometheus. That just was strange. It was almost as if everybody just kind of froze, even on the sideline. It's just a weird. It was weird. It was weird. A perfect storm for UConn. But yeah. We'll see what all Burnop has to say about the scrimmage. Also, Grant Meyer didn't even play. See, that's what I'm talking about. Your number one quarterback apparently was sick, didn't even play. So probably couldn't get a whole lot done if your number one quarterback's not playing. We shall see, Geese, if that's the case with Franklin. We shall see. Which was worse? Weber, because that was the title game. Chris Webber's was worse because that resulted into immediate technical shots. And, yeah, they're both bad. It's a good question. I would say Webber's is worse. Boozer's is most recent, but Webber's is worse. Morris says, take your grandkids to the golf course, T-Bird. You know, Morris. Really disappointed I didn't get to see you this weekend at baseball. Just saying. You promised. Speaking of baseball, Tech and Radford tonight at 6. Yeah, I saw that getting around, Prometheus, and people were like, that should have been Tech. First of all, it was Roger Ayers, who might be the best basketball official out there. I know Roger very well, and he has a very personal, very positive relationship with coaches. And I know he does a lot of games that UConn plays. And I think that was a situation where if it were any other official, Hurley wouldn't have got down there and kind of looked him in the eye, you know. It looked, just knowing Roger, I've seen Roger have all sorts of interactions. You know, he came up through the Big South, and he still, from time to time, we'll be lucky and we'll get him. And we'll get him. I don't think that was what it looked like, in my opinion. And I know it looked bad, and everybody was thinking, why wasn't he teed up? You didn't see Roger getting it, do the hand out. I think that was a conversation between two guys that are as close to having a friendly relationship as you can. That's the way Roger is. Roger's the best. If every official approached it and called the games like Roger Ayers, we wouldn't be talking about officials ever. Ever. Yeah, Radford and Tech tonight. Unfortunately, it's a 6 o'clock first pitch. I don't really know why, but it is. Midweeks at 6 o'clock. But in any event, you've got that game, and then we go into Easter weekend. It's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday since no baseball's played on Easter Sunday. Waiting on Marva to join us from Miami to talk all things Duke and all other things coming up. And then we're going to catch up with Scot Thomas. Oh, too early, Geese, because I don't know how the post-spring reports are going to go. I don't know. I don't know yet. Too early for me, because I don't even know how the local team, Tech and UVA, are going to look, much less the national perspective. You know, I'm not sure exactly all the comings and goings at all the power schools. I mean, it'll be the usual suspects, I'm sure. So I don't know. We shall see. I will say I think it's going to be an interesting test, and nobody has been more on the Kurt Signetti train than me. It's going to be an interesting test to see how Indiana now with a major target comes back and handles, they're going to have probably some adversity early on. I mean, because they lost a superstar. Mendoza was superstar. Mendoza, I think, is going to be an immediate hit in the NFL with the Raiders. Yep. Wouldn't surprise me, Geese. They always give Texas the benefit of the doubt. They're still trying to find their way in the SEC, you know. Still trying to find their way in the SEC. So we'll see. I don't know. It's too early. It's too early. So, yeah, I mean, it's a midweek. So what can you expect? People are asking me. Lots of pitchers. I think both teams, this is the kind of game that means a lot more to fans. Both teams are trying to get to the weekend. Big series for both coming up. I think Tech travels to Miami to take on the Canes. And Radford's got USC Upstate. So you have two big conference series coming up. So this game is played, and I know it's big because it's the two local schools. It's the first of two games. But in retrospect, it's not nearly as big as the conference series coming up. So it's one of those games that can be kind of frustrating because a lot of times coaches will just try to get guys work in. They're not really worried about the game until later, in the later innings. So it's not baseball like you think it is a lot of times for midweeks, you know. Joining us now on the program. Surprised she's not wearing. I mean, I thought you'd be wearing like navy blue for UConn colors is what I thought you'd be wearing.
No. But yes, I was very happy though to see them win over the weekend.
Yeah.
I think I speak for a lot of people.
I said your text was funny. Did you hear me screaming all the way from Miami? And I think I did. You knocked the vase off the shelf. You were so happy.
Yes, I was watching this, Rick. I was very upset in the first half. Very upset because I was like, oh no, this can't be happening. But in the second half, I was very encouraged to see UConn fighting back, you know, just clawing their way back. You know, they were down 19 points, and I'm sure a lot of people had written them off, thought, okay, this is how their season ends. But that is not the way they approached it. And oh my goodness, when they hit that three to take the lead, I just couldn't believe it because I'm so glad that they didn't listen to me because I was trying to coach them, you know, from home. And I was like, oh my goodness, why aren't you fouling? Why aren't you fouling? I was like, Duke is going to run this clock out and it's going to be over. And I'm so glad they did not listen to me in this case because that was just, it was just amazing. It was just great. And now if we could only stop having to see all the Boozer twin commercials, if we could also make those go away, it'd be great. But I don't think we're having luck there.
Well, and then you had, you know, Carlos when he was waving at the St. John's. I love the fact that made a meme all over X yesterday.
Yes. When I saw that happen, I actually in my bracket, I had St. John's beating them. So I was so hopeful there. And St. John's definitely had a shot. But, you know, it didn't work out. But, you know, when they're facing UConn, I thought they had a shot. I thought they had looked vulnerable throughout the tournament. And I mean, going back to the first game against Siena, when they found themselves down, you know, and I was thinking they definitely have a chance. And I was just so happy to see UConn pull it off. And then at the end of the game, or, you know, after when the team went out for their post-game press conference, I was really disappointed to see John Shire not take more of this on himself. Now, he did come out and say, you know, Caden Boozer obviously devastated because he gave up the ball that led to that shot. But he said, you know, there's not just one mistake. There were many mistakes. So I don't know how it makes your player feel better. You didn't just make one mistake. You know, you guys made a lot of mistakes. I would have liked it a lot more if he had said, I didn't have the guys ready for this situation like I should have. I would have been really impressed with him if he had taken it on himself. But instead, I mean, he didn't completely throw the players under the bus, but I just think as coach, he should have shouldered a little bit more of that.
Agreed. And there's always a smugness there that comes across with him and everything else. But who knew? And, you and I were texting. Carolina and Duke each blew 19-point leads. And I told you, shouldn't they be looking now to fire Shire? I mean, it's what happened to Carolina.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm sure some of the fans are disappointed. I mean, if you look back to all the games they lost this season, they didn't lose a lot. I mean, they only lost 3 games.
That's right.
But each game they were down. I mean, they were ahead by double digits. Each game they were ahead by double digits. I think the Carolina game was the smallest amount, 13 points. They were ahead at some point, and they just could not, get the job done at the end. And I read an interesting article a couple of days ago talking about, that don't feel sorry for Duke. They brought this on themselves by the emphasis on one and done superstars, because when you build your team in this way, you'd lack the leadership you need in these kind of late game situations. Because even if you look at UConn, yes, it was a freshman who took that great shot, but it was an upperclassman who got him the ball, who realized, I don't have the shot here. This guy has a much better chance. And you need that leadership. And, they didn't have it, and the guys weren't ready. And I know this is going to surprise you, Rick, but I actually felt bad for Caden Boozer.
No.
When they interviewed him in the locker room.
No.
And I felt bad for him because, first of all, he's always in his brother's spotlight, right? He's always there in his brother's spotlight. And he said, basically saying, I ruined the season for us. I, ruined things for my brother. And I felt bad for him. And I felt like he should have been coached up before any reporters came into the locker room. Because, they don't let them come in as soon as the game is over. There's a cooling off period. Coach should, or someone, if it wasn't John Shire, someone should have gone to him and said, look, this is not your fault. We were up by 19. There were a lot of mistakes. We didn't have you guys prepared. So he didn't look like such a defeated young man there in that press conference. Well, not in the press conference, but in the locker room when he was being interviewed. I don't know. I just felt like nobody did that. And not that you want a kid, you want them to care, but at the same time, I just feel like the right things were not said to those players in the locker room.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for multimillionaires, which all the Boozer kids are. Like, I don't sit there and look at it the same way when you and I were growing up and we were watching sports, and it was generally, you felt really bad for the young people. I doubt he cared much about it.
They had great. Even if there was no NIL, because of who their dad was, because of his career in NBA and also because of his broadcast career, like they would have had plenty of money. It's not
correct. That's why I don't feel sorry for him.
Well, I just feel like he was left out there to dry, and I just didn't think. I didn't think that was the right way, that he had been approached the right way by the coaching staff to prepare them for this, because they know this question was going to come up, and they should have just talked to him. And so he wasn't in that state. So I actually felt sorry for him in that situation, because I felt like he didn't get what he needed from his coaching staff.
Now, that part I agree with. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. The coaching staff, they're also making a lot of money. You should never leave it, even when kids are getting paid like they are, you should never leave it to where you could still blame the player, right? Yeah. And I think a coach should always do, unless you find out a guy's not trying and you find out later that's different. But the kids out there trying,
nothing like that, right? They wanted this. And just before this game even happened, I had seen a old quote from Dean Smith talking about, basically the wins are due to the players, the losses are due to me. And it's just, you take that on. That's what you do as the adult in the room, the responsible.
Yeah.
So I just didn't like that. And I don't know, I don't, haven't been, I'm not on I don't try to sneak on to Duke fan boards, and I don't know what people are saying there talking about John Shire. I don't do that.
Are you lurking?
Carolina ones, and I know that occasionally Duke people get through and they get, escorted out. But I don't.
You're like, what's your name? What's your screen name? Blue Devil Lover? Is that what you do?
No. But I do wonder though. What are people saying? Or what are they? Are they saying, wow, we only lost 3 games. It was a good season, or are they saying, what's wrong with us? Why can't we, win it all? I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what do you think's going to happen now? We're in the Final Four. It's bad to me that I hate that Arizona's playing Michigan in a semifinal. I think those are clearly the two best teams that are still there. And I think whoever wins that game is going to cruise on Monday night. But who do you see winning? What do you got?
Well, in my bracket, I should say that I had three of the Final Four teams. I, of course, thought Carolina was going to be there, so I didn't have.
Did you have Carolina going all the way to the final?
I did. I can't help myself, Rick. Okay, I can't help myself. I couldn't. I knew it was probably unlikely, but again, I can't help myself. Okay, so I did have 3 of the 4 teams. Okay, I watched the games over the weekend, and Michigan looks very, very good. They do. But after what I saw from UConn, I think they'll get there. They might win, but this is hard. Like I said, I had 3 of the 4 teams.
That's good, though. Yeah, it's good. I only had 2 because I had Duke going. They lost.
Oh, no, Rick, if you had just asked me, I would have told you they weren't going to make it.
Well,
I thought they were going to lose to St. John's, okay? I did not think they were going to make it.
Well, I think a lot of people kind of felt that way, to be honest with you, that could have happened. So I get that.
You could have just asked me. I would have helped you out there. But
Houston killed me. Houston losing killed me. I had them going all the way. So.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rick.
That's okay.
Sorry. But it's going to be hard. I don't know. I think that Michigan-Arizona game is going to be great. And I just haven't watched Arizona as much. Even in the tournament, it hasn't. But just Michigan looks very good. But I did actually, I believe I had, because I do 2 brackets. Of course, I only do 1 for you. But like in one, I had Carolina playing. I think I had Carolina playing Michigan, and one they're playing Arizona. So I think for you, I had them playing Arizona. So I guess I have to say that. But after what I saw, Michigan looks very, very good. But I keep hedging. I'm sorry, I keep hedging. But I still would say with UConn, would you really be surprised if they came through and won again?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I would be.
I just feel like they're very
this
prepared.
year. I would be. They are.
They're very prepared, and
they're tough. They're a tough-minded team. They are.
Yeah, 3 of those teams, I think we could say, they have a good shot.
But I think Arizona and Michigan are clearly the 2 most talented teams.
Yeah,
remaining.
I mean, I was just blown away by the way Michigan looked over the weekend. Wow. I mean, it was over. I was watching their game. And I believe I stopped and I had to go check out the Marlins because as much as I love basketball, I mean, they were just blowing them out. So it's like, let's see what's going on with the Marlins. And I know you've already covered this extensively. Okay. But they did start off 3-0. I mean, they swept the Rockies in their opening series.
Well, it was the Rockies. I mean,
what?
It was the Rockies. I think they won, 45 games last year, maybe 40, 45.
But a lot of people thought they were going to have a resurgence.
This is going to be their year.
No.
Are the Marlins in first? Is that what you're telling me?
I haven't looked at the standings. I haven't looked at the standings.
Well, if they won 3 games, they probably are.
Yeah, but still, I don't know. Like the last time I looked, somebody looked for me. You looked for me, Rick. The last time I looked.
Let me look here. I don't know. You might be where you need to be there. Let's see.
They may be. And they did go back to the team.
Oh, yeah, you're in a tie. There's like 4 teams in the East at 3-1, and you're one up. Congratulations.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
How about that?
They did lose 1, but that was in their next series. But yeah, I mean, everybody's excited. I mean, I don't think I just speak for people in this area. I think I speak for the country to see what the Marlins are going to do.
So, your head coaching search, what are you hearing down in Chapel Hill? I hope it's not. I hope it's in. Well, you saw. Have you taken the time to read what happened last night to Jaden Ivey for the Bulls?
No, what happened? Oh, yeah. Oh, I did hear about that. Yes, I forgot. My husband sent me a story about that.
Yeah, he's a devout Christian, and he just said, "Hey, I don't. Those don't fall in my beliefs." He wasn't like attacking anybody. The Bulls cut him issued a statement that he was a detriment to the team for being Christian and expressing his values. And then you had, moronic Billy Donovan supporting the decision. Of course, he had no choice, I guess. But this, to me, this isn't going away. Now you got Donovan tied into that. And I know he's been tied into your job. I don't know if that's something that I would want to be brought with him into the North Carolina gig. But we'll see what happens.
I don't know what's going to happen there. And it was kind of, like I said, I read that story this morning about what happened to him. And I understand.
Just when you think you can't hate the NBA more, well, they do this.
I don't have your NBA hate, but it's just really a difficult situation because I was wondering, was this something that was coming up soon? I was wondering why he was speaking. He was kind of in a vulnerable position. The fact that he's not able to play. He might have been cut anyway. I don't know. And I don't know what's going to happen with the Carolina search. I keep hearing his name a lot. People are speculating, would he want to leave? Or, should Carolina really want him? Obviously, he was very successful at Florida. But he's gone to the NBA and he hasn't had that same level of success. So do you think if you bring him in, is it going to be like Florida all over again? And he's going to be winning, back-to-back championships and I don't know. I'm not very excited about it.
I think there's names out there that we don't know about. I agree with, was it David Teal? Maybe David Smith. One of the two last week said, for Carolina to have acted as swiftly as they did, they've already talked to somebody.
You would think, because you don't want to be going into this situation with a lot of hope. I mean, I'm sorry, hope, but just hope, you want to have some sort of assurances that you're going to be able to get someone you want, or then you have an embarrassing situation. I mean, I remember when Carolina was, Dean Smith had retired, Guthridge coached 1 year, and then they brought in Matt Doherty, who's not the first choice, obviously. Obviously, they wanted to bring in Roy Williams, but he was not ready to leave Kansas at that point. And so then you had kind of an embarrassing search, and you end up with Matt Doherty, he knew he wasn't the first choice. And it was just kind of it was a bad fit. So like every time people were talking about problems with Hubert, I was back in my mind, well, Doherty had a season where he won 8 games. Like that was embarrassing. That was like Hubert never did anything like that. And so I would hope that the people who are pulling the strings in the background, they know what they're doing and they have some.
That feels like it.
Because otherwise you risk looking bad and damaging your brand. So I hope they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be somebody we just saw get eliminated over the weekend, or maybe I believe Nate Oates. I think somebody like that, TJ Otzenberg. I think somebody that is going to all of a sudden pop up. We'll see.
Okay. I mean, I hope so. I just
feels like it. I mean, they can get anybody they want, basically. They can almost get any coach in the country. Almost get any coach.
They wanted Brad Stevens. Which still, that
I think he's just in a different realm now.
He's got a cushy job. Why would he leave his cushy gig? He's got a cushy gig there with the Celtics. Why would he want to leave that?
Exactly.
There's a lot of things that, yes, the Carolina job is a great job, but there's a lot of things that come with it that people have to be prepared for. You have to be prepared for these, big money donors coming after you. They love you now, but they can turn on you quickly. And there's just a lot of things that are going to be expected. You're going to be expected to go around and talk to people at the Rotary Club and do all this stuff. And you may not want to deal with that. You may not want to deal with all the expectations. So you got to find someone who is prepared to deal with that. And, over the weekend, Kenny Smith was saying you want somebody who wants to be there for the duration. They want to retire.
Well, he's an idiot.
But I mean, I think you don't want somebody who's going to be constantly looking for a better gig, right?
But it's changed.
But still, you don't want somebody who's going to use this as kind of
But there's no,
to maybe get no coach in the NBA. You want somebody who wants to be there and who can stay there.
In my opinion, you don't go to North Carolina looking for another job. North Carolina is it might be the bluest of blue bloods. They've been to the most Final Fours of any other school. You know, I'm preaching to the choir, I know, but this is freaking Carolina. You're not going to go to Carolina and then want to go to the NBA.
No, you would hope not. Or want to go to another school. That's what you would hope. I think that's all he was saying, is get somebody who really wants to be there and who wants to be there for the duration. You don't want to be embarrassed and have some. I mean, I can't see Carolina having a situation like what happened to NC State. Like that's. I mean,
when's the last coach
that was
left
so
Carolina?
Embarrassing for them.
Now, I'm asking this question generally because you'll know. When's the last coach that left North Carolina to go somewhere else? That wasn't fired. Guthridge got old, was ineffective. Everybody knew he was a stopgap. He was there for that year. Like Doherty was terrible. Roy retired, and Hubert got fired. No one's ever left North Carolina for a better job. There isn't a better job in college basketball. I'm sorry, there isn't. There's not a better job. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm not even a Carolina guy. There's not a better job in college basketball than North Carolina.
Well, they're going to give you, you're going to get the money. You're going to be on TV a lot. Like when I say you're going to get the money, though, I have to say there are other schools that are, have more money, like NIL. Like look at what Duke is doing.
Pay for play, Marva. Pay for play. Come on.
But look at what Duke is doing. Like they have big money. That's a private school.
Carolina will never have a problem with pay for play. Ever.
So,
especially if they get a coach that the boosters want, you'll never have a problem with it. Ever.
Well, I hope that's the case. I hope that they're getting the money what they need from the boosters. I think it is the best job.
It's the best job.
I hope they get someone who really wants to be there. And like I said, Carolina would never be embarrassed like Will Wade did to NC State.
No.
I mean,
no, they would never hired Will Wade to begin with.
Oh yeah, but I mean, they talk about kicking a school when they're down. I mean, they're already upset, and then
it may take a while. Don't you think it's going to take a little longer because now they're hiring outside the family? So this is the first time they've hired outside the family, the Carolina family. So it might take them a little while to kind of
take some time.
A lot of vetting. Yeah.
People will be patient and make sure they get the right person. There's no, I was going to say there's no rush, but there kind of is a rush because Carolina had a couple big recruits coming in. And what are these guys thinking? Were they Hubert guys? I don't know. Are they going to say we're going to go elsewhere? But the transfer portal will be opening. So you got to start thinking about that. So I hope they get someone. I hope they don't drag their feet too much because
they won't.
You will be behind in that race to get the top transfer guys.
You'll have your new coach before you and I talk next week.
I hope so, Rick. I hope you're right.
I think so. I don't think it's anybody in the Final Four, although the latest rumor I saw is Arizona.
Don't say something silly.
No.
Okay. So we'll see. And I see here someone is saying
Rasheed Wallace.
You know what?
No.
Honestly, I not that he should be the head coach.
No, he shouldn't be anywhere near the program.
I would not mind them getting him to be an assistant. I think Carolina's lacked a certain level of toughness that I think somebody like that brings. And I wouldn't mind him. I don't think he would hurt the program being an assistant.
Tommy Lloyd. Tommy Lloyd is being rumored as being a guy that you can't count out of this Carolina circuit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
someone they can afford Seth Green. What? Okay, I don't know what's going on. But I also saw someone, I didn't see who it was.
Chat, take it over.
K, that was a different time, but even Coach K thought about going to the NBA.
Chat's take it over now.
But I would not mind. I don't think Rasheed Wallace as an assistant coach is a bad idea. I think I think they could use a little toughness, Rick.
He's not tough. He's turned, who knows what's he even doing now?
I don't know if he's working with high school or something. He has a job doing something. Please stop being silly. Why did someone put Christian Laettner? What is going on in the chat?
Chat has their own.
What is happening in this chat? I don't know. I need to stop looking at the chat. I don't know what's going on there.
Frank McGuire, maybe. Yeah, that's right. Rodney's a Carolina guy. He says Frank McGuire may have been the last one to leave. Yeah, that's probably it. So nobody's leaving North Carolina on their own. If you go to North Carolina, you're like, I have made it. I've made it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people talking about, if Stackhouse had been able to do something at Vanderbilt, but he got fired there.
That's
and he didn't.
Zero chance that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, guys. Come on, that's not going to happen. I don't know who was saying that, but you've seen a couple of Carolina assistants have been hired by Wes Miller at Charlotte now. So I have hope in the future. Like Marcus Page, he's very young. I just think he may end up being a nice coach at some point. He's not there yet, obviously, but at some point he may end up being a nice coach. So, we'll see. I can't keep up with everything in the chat. But some of the comments are funny.
Imagine if Tommy Lloyd wins the title next Monday, and then on Tuesday, after he celebrates back on campus, Tuesday night, by the way, I'm now the new head basketball. He shows up down in Chapel Hill at a press conference wearing Carolina blue. I can see that happening too. Coaches do that all the time. I can see that happening.
Yeah. Oh, I agree I'm sorry. I'm like so into the chat right now, but I do think Stackhouse has had a good landing spot there being assistant at Golden State.
Let's just
and who knows? Maybe he will go back to college. I don't know. He might go back to college.
He destroyed the Vanderbilt program. Mark Byington has built it back.
He destroyed it.
He's terrible. He's in the NBA assistant. What are you coaching in the NBA? Hey, put down that fifth joint.
No,
I don't ready to play the game.
That's true. And I'm again, interesting comments here. Like JJ Redick possibly coaching at Duke in 10 years. Maybe. I mean, I think he loves the school, and who knows? They may be ready to move on from him out in LA. So.
I don't think coaching in the NBA translates to college basketball in any way, shape, or form, just like coaching in the NFL doesn't translate to college football. Coaching in the NBA is nothing more than just trying to somehow get egos and lifestyles to play together long enough to try to win a title. I don't think there's any really coaching a lot going on in the NBA. It's not the same.
I think coaching does matter, though, at every level. I mean, I don't like it when people say coaching doesn't matter because it's like, oh, you got really talented guys and you send them out there. I don't think that's the case.
It doesn't matter as much in the NBA as college basketball. No question.
Okay.
No
but
question.
It still matters. Like I think at every level in every sport, it does matter.
Depends on who the coach is.
See a lot of
Yeah.
I trying to be nice here, but
what? Go ahead.
I'll just say it matters.
Go ahead.
No. I'm gonna say it matters. So yeah.
I think you're going to hire a good coach. I think they're going to take their time, but not. It's the old John Wooden quote: "Be quick, but don't hurry." Right? And I think that's what they're going to do. It's Carolina. They're not going to. They're going to.
I mean, I hope so. I hope this is going to happen. But this is the same school. It's not exactly the same team, but that brought Belichick in.
I know.
We can't forget that.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Yeah.
I have high hopes too, but I think basketball.
Wasn't that boosters? Wasn't that boosters that forced Bubba? That's why Bubba's leaving. That's one of the reasons Bubba's leaving, right? He didn't like that. He got overruled by a bunch of boosters.
I mean, and I still have hope, Rick. I know you think I'm crazy for this, but I still have hope that this Belichick can turn this around. I hope that he can. I have hope, Rick. Come on. It is the off season. I am allowed to have some hope that he can turn things around. I want that, of course, for the team. I even want it for him. I just hate for him to go out in such a bad way,
Who's the new AD?
Lots of candy. I don't know what they get.
Who's the new AD down there?
I can't even remember the guy's name right now. I'm sorry. That's really bad.
No, I'll look at him. I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know, oh, come on, T-Bird.
What's he saying?
Dennis Rodman could bring a new approach. But you know what? Like people like to make fun of him. He's an easy target. But I mean, incredible rebounder. But no, he's not going to be the coach. Come on.
Oh, so Bubba's out, and they're going to have Steve Newmark.
Yes. And I don't know that much about him.
Who is Steve Newmark?
I don't know that much about him, Rick.
He's been in racing. Oh yeah. Lord.
So.
Wow. Really? That's
So,
your
yeah.
new athletic director, a guy who's run something called RFK Racing?
Rick, I don't know what's happening. Like, it's just a different day. Things are very different. I don't know what's going to happen. Rick, don't give me that look. Come on, please.
Good luck with that. Yeah,
Like,
NASCAR has just been exploding. Wow.
Now, just when Jordan is having success. But no, you've been against NASCAR for a while, so it's nothing new.
Not against it. It's just not the same.
You talk down on it a lot.
I'm hoping Michael Jordan can save NASCAR like he saved the NBA. That's what I'm hoping. Maybe he can. He's got a big lawsuit going. He's the most successful owner right now. He's very vocal about it. He loves it. He's got a real passion for it. He grew up around it. So
I'm excited. I'm happy he's found that. And, it hasn't brought me in yet. I used to occasionally watch the end of a race. I haven't even done that in a while. Like maybe the last 10 laps or so. I haven't.
Exactly. There's no appeal to it whatsoever.
There's a racetrack right down here where, there's that.
When they went to the stages and took what I used to be so attracted was it was an endurance thing. It was all day. You're trying to stay out of trouble, and you get working on your car all day, trying to time things right at the last pit stop. And then when they went to these stages and just made it all participation. Oh, you didn't win the race, but you won a stage. You get points. Yay. The whole mindset to NASCAR is bad.
I just feel like now I'm just very removed from it. I don't know who the drivers are. It used to be very personality driven, it felt like. And there, you were this person or you were that.
Exactly.
And now I don't really know who these people are. But again, it's on me. I haven't been following it.
No, it's not.
I just don't see. I haven't seen big personalities emerge that they become bigger than their sport. Like you see, I don't know. So
no, you're right.
My husband, though, he loves racing, so he watches. So maybe he could be on here and talk to you about who's top. And I mean, he watches racing at any form. Like he's watching the motorcycle stuff. He just loves racing. Yeah. So yeah, but that's just not me. I let him have that to himself.
Where are the kids? Where are the kids today? Where's the two most beautiful children?
Already on the way to school, and when we wrap up here, I'll be waking my son up to get him to school. Hopefully, guys, please pray for me that it goes well. That he
we will.
Because sometimes it is a struggle. I'm like, we're gonna be late. So, hopefully it'll go well today.
Well, you're going to have a problem as they continue to get older because they're going to say, we are the two most beautiful children ever created. So they're going to take that with them. Good luck. You're going to be like the NBA coach trying to put up with your high priced.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, good stuff as always. I think you'll have your new coach before.
Well, I hope so, Rick. I hope so. And I hope it's somebody I can support. Whoever they bring in, I will try to.
It'll be good.
Support. Yeah.
Yeah. It will be. It's North Carolina. Come on. You're done. You're the head coach at North Carolina. Your goals are done. Now it's time to build them back up and win.
Yeah, build it up.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, be good. Have a great rest of the week and enjoy the Final Four. All right.
Okay, I will.
Marva in Miami. Good stuff. Just realized I don't have Scot Thomas's email. Yeah, I can't send an email if I don't have it. Thanks to Marva. Marva's great. Strawberries, North Carolina's Strawberries. UNC's doing their coaching search in English Meadows. That's not true. I don't think, Tebow. I don't think that's true. NASCAR is a shell of its former self. Agreed. Same thing in golf, Prometheus says. NASCAR and baseball, no star power. Yeah. I mean, what Marty was talking about yesterday with Rory is true, right? He's probably the biggest star right now. But does that really bring us closer to being golf fans? Somebody from Australia. I mean, it's North Carolina. North Carolina's, it's not I'll be there for a few years destination. If you win there, and went over the boosters, and you get a natty early, and you have the flow going, you're at North Carolina. You're not looking to go where else are you going to go? There's only 5 true blue bloods in college basketball. UCLA used to be that. They won 10 titles in 12 years. John Wooden. They're not anywhere close to that anymore of the 5 blue bloods. They're probably the 5th one you would bring up, right? Carolina and Duke and Kentucky and Kansas, probably in that order. Maybe you put Kentucky ahead of Duke just in terms of history, but probably not because of recent. But North Carolina is the quintessential place for any coach. I mean, it's not the same. It's Alabama football. We just haven't thought of it like that because they've always hired within the family. UConn hasn't been around long enough to be a blue blood. Nah, UConn's not a blue blood, Keon. They've been good, but they're not a blue blood. They weren't kicking ass back in the 40s and 50s and 60s and all of that. Hey, I'm crazy, but you're the guy who goes around trying to say LeBron James is the best player of all time. Who's really crazy? I don't think so. Arizona. Well, if you want to have modern blue bloods, you could throw Arizona and UConn into a what have you done? You know, Arizona didn't get good until the 80s. So in terms of basketball, we look at 40, what is that, 40, help me out with math here. Is that 45 years? Right? 45 years or so? So no, I don't. It'd be like saying who's recently been successful in college football but wasn't. Indiana doesn't count because that was just a one-year thing, I think, for them. Yeah, there you go. Arizona missed the Final Four for 20-plus years after they won it in 97. Yeah, you could put UConn in the next 5. I would agree with you there, Keon. You could put UConn. You could put Arizona maybe. Indiana. Indiana's kind of fallen down like UCLA. Who else? Who am I leaving out? Anybody else from the Big Ten? Seems like the Big Ten's the dominant college basketball conference. Louisville, Michigan State, or more blue-blooded. Yeah, I'm talking about throughout the history. That's what a blue blood is. When was UConn basketball? It got relevant under Calhoun, right? I mean, really relevant. But here's the thing about Tom Izzo, and I've seen this a lot. We talk about them a lot with Tom Izzo. He's only got the one title. He's called Mr. March, and they have always had some early success in tournaments, but for the most part, they don't continue that along into deep runs into the tournament. All right? Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, Kansas. I'm sorry, UCLA's won 11 national titles, so they're a blue blood. We may not relate to them. But they are a blue blood. You don't have the most national titles of any other program and not be a blue blood. Yeah, Kansas, Fog Allen. Yeah, Kansas has been a factor. Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Florida. Yeah. You could put them in recent years. Yeah. Yeah, they would definitely be in the next 5. If you're going to have like your historic blue blood 5, and maybe that's the way you have to do it. You call the next 5 like mini blue bloods, like mini me. Michigan. UConn, Michigan, Florida, Arizona, Michigan State. Anthony says he'd put Villanova in there. That's a fun conversation, though, isn't it? That's a fun conversation. Yeah. No, I don't think you lose blue blood status, though. I mean, UCLA's last title was 95. They've been to a couple Final Fours since then. Been to more Final Fours than Izzo. What would Brett Michaels say about the Final Four? No team has won more than UConn. No team has won more titles than UConn in the last 3 decades. How many titles do they have? 4? They have 4 or 5. I don't even know. 4 or 5? KB, how many do they have? I'm trying to hook up with Scot Thomas here, but I don't have his email. We do not have Brian Siegel today because he is traveling. He's going on vacay for a few days. So we don't have Brian today. We will have Mike Burnop coming up at 8. So we have time here if we can hook up with Scott. We hope. 6. Penn State is no longer a blue blood in football, just like Nebraska. I don't know. See, that becomes a different debate. Like, what are the intangibles for blue blood status, especially in college football? Has Hurley won 3 titles? Has he really? Hurley's won 3 national titles? Wow. Well, you've got 7. Yeah, 2. That's what I thought. I was like, wow, if he'd won 3, then he's won 2. Okay, Hurley has 2. That's what I thought. Ryan Pry, the attorney Ryan Pry, BDST fan question of the week. When UConn rose to prominence in the 90s, I spent several weeks thinking they were from the Yukon in Canada. Yeah, the women hit under Auriemma, and then the men hit shortly after. Yeah, Penn State's a blue blood in football. They are. I mean, what do you – that's a good conversation. Now, see, these aren't wrong answers, by the way. It's everybody's opinion. But these are fun things. This is what we do here. These are fun. All right, so I just put in college football blue bloods. Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Notre Dame, Texas. Then, yeah, you have to put Oklahoma in there. USC, Penn State, there they are. Nebraska. I mean, Nebraska was a dominant team for 3 decades. And before that, they were really good. That's fun, though. That's a fun conversation right there. That's fun. I mean, Texas has Vince Young in the modern era, but what else since, right? Am I missing one? I know with Nebraska, they have the best fan base of anyone that I've been to that was a traditional power. The reverence they had for Frank Beamer when I went out there with Richie Davis and watched Tyrod beat them in the 4th quarter. I mean, that's some of the best football fans I've ever been around. They were awesome. Miami, there you go, Morris. Thank you. Yeah, Miami. Yeah, you'd have to have Miami in there, wouldn't you? I mean, it goes back to Howard Schnellenberger. Jimmy Johnson came after Miami, Florida State. Good Lord. I mean, Florida State's got to be considered, right? That's fun, though. That's fun. Yeah, exactly, Tebow. It's just an opinion, but there's no wrong answers. Whatever. I mean, that's what's fun about this. There's no, you're completely wrong. It's fun. These are the kind of fun sports debates. You know, stuff like this is cool. I don't know if we're going to be able to have Scott on. He has not responded. Hope something has not gotten into his dojo. Let me make sure he didn't send it. No, I don't have it. Yeah, USC's got to be in there. That's why I hate the USC Notre Dame game. It's not going to be played, right, next year? Yeah, Miami was bad. Yeah, they were. They were bad until Schnellenberger got there. Same thing with UConn basketball. They got relevant late. So are they an all-time blue blood? Best rivalry VMI VT in the 60s and 70s. And that's going to be rekindled here opening day. I mean, wow. You talk about walking into a minefield. James Franklin making his debut against VMI. Not James Madison. No. But I digress. Mike Burnop's going to join us at 8. We'll talk about everything that he saw at the scrimmage. It's going to be a barn burner. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Well, they win one game last year, and now their former coach is on Franklin's staff. We should get our first glimpse into how this Tech season's going to go when they play Maryland. Yeah. Unless ODU reloaded, I don't know. I haven't seen anything about exact. I saw where Ricky Ronnie said he was recruiting well, but I don't know if they're going to be able to find a quarterback as dynamic as the kid we just saw who went to Wisconsin. Whew. Jeez Louise. What about that guy? Yeah, buying Tech on Turkey Day. Such a tradition. As Jerry Claiborne would say. Yeah, I'm sure it'll sell out. But, I mean, that doesn't change what it is, but that'll I'm sure it'll sell out. Sure. Tech fan almost sold out every Brent Pry game, right? I mean, they're going to be there. Tech fans are going to support. Yeah, absolutely they will. Now, they won't have much to watch after the first quarter, but they'll be there. Yeah. Well, I'm not hearing back from Scott, so we'll have to get him on, I guess, another day. He still has time. But anyway. Yeah. Don't think it's going to work out for him. Which is disappointing. I was hoping to talk to him a little bit about everything going on. But we'll have Burnop at the top of the hour. It's a good conversation. Yes, Tebow. I would say once you get into the next 2 or 3 actual scrimmages that Tech has against one another, it'll probably have better resistance than VMI. I think that whole thing, and I know a lot of Tech fans were trying to defend it, and they were trying to act like they had no choice, and none of that's true. We found out later from various people here on the show that they made a choice, and they chose not to play JMU. Yeah. Just saying, we put all this into Franklin, right? All the fanfare, all the, oh my God, James Franklin. And then you're going to open up with VMI. I hope we wear black jerseys to respect their tradition. Speaking of which, every graphic I see, does Tech softball wear exclusively black uniforms? I mean, I'm just asking because I don't know. Every time I see a graphic on X with Tech softball, they have a black uniform on. Do they just wear that now exclusively? David, what's up, brother? Oklahoma to me is easily a blue blood. Yeah, Bud Wilkinson, the longest winning streak, right? 40, was it 47? Right? 44? Was it 44? The longest winning streak in college football belongs to Oklahoma. Yeah, they're a blue blood. They are. Absolutely. Anybody whose theme song that you hear and you recognize it over the years, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Michigan, whomever I might leave out, you're a blue blood. You're a blue blood. All right, Brandon, I wasn't sure. I mean, I was asking that question seriously because I don't think I've seen him in a maroon jersey. Correct, Tebow. Tech has no business playing VMI. Not modern football. None. Nor William and Mary. There's a state school they should be playing, but they chose not to. Morris, wear them with sandals. I hear it's a good look. I'm with you, David. Yeah, Oklahoma's a blue blood. Yeah, they are. They are. That's a fun conversation. Football gets a little more, I guess. I mean, basketball, that term was created in college basketball, blue bloods in college basketball. That goes hand in hand. You don't think about it as much in football. It's usually worded as traditional powers in college football. The traditional powers. But the ones we read off are pretty darn good. I see you, Morris. That is beautiful. I'll give you that. Is that really the Palm Coast, Morris? Wow. So Morris sent me this. This is where Morris spends most of his days, right here. Look at that. You win, Morris. You've won. You've won, my friend. You've won. Yeah, I feel the same way, Tebow. Like, there are few institutions I have any more respect for than the military schools, VMI, even at the, not the, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, but the VMIs, the Citadels. I mean, all these places and what those young dudes go through. Sports is a recreation. Practice is like fun. And what they do and what they accomplish goes beyond, obviously, what's happening on the playing fields. Now, this year they have a pretty good baseball team. I got to see them. They're good. And then sometimes they'll have good teams that pop up. The basketball teams when they're in the Big South were really good. Traditionally, their basketball program has been really, really good. But in terms of playing in modern-day college football, that shouldn't be a game that's ever scheduled. The two programs were closer together in the 60s, just like all the military schools when Army used to dominate. The Army-Navy game was not just a rivalry between the services. It was, these are really good football teams, right? They would play for natties. They would be around undefeated seasons. It was different. And then It started to separate, obviously, with scholarships and with other things and limitations on your recruiting. But yeah, Morris says, damn right, all about pay for play and winning. Winning is not important. It's about real close to oxygen. But nowadays, just like Navy this year, Navy was a really good team, and yet Notre Dame beat them by what, 6 touchdowns? They do that every year. That's right. Used to be, but you got to recognize it for what it is now. Tebow says, I remember going to Tech games when VMI and Richmond beat Tech. Yeah. Yeah, I think the spread for that game, if they give a spread, should be around 40. Yeah. It's funny you say that, Wayne. Somebody was asking me the other day what I thought the spread would be. And I think I said something like 39.5. So you're saying 38. So we're thinking the same thing. Yeah, it's going to be something. It'll be something to trigger people maybe wanting to do something with it. Like, they'll have a half added to it. And I don't know what we're going to learn about Tech's team in that game. And that's my whole argument about games like that. You don't find out a lot about yourself. I guess you get through the organization of a game day. Hopefully you don't get guys hurt. Guys will gain some confidence. You start to get into a routine and a rotation, maybe develop some depth. You can pull all your starters out maybe, or then again, it's a first game. There's that fine line of dancing. How long do you leave your guys out there in a game like that? You want them to develop coming out of practice. You want them to say, hey, this is my first game here in Blacksburg. But at the same time, when it's 50-0, I mean, what are you really accomplishing? I don't know. That's why I always look at basketball schedules, and I think it comes home every time. In our league in the Big South, the teams who play really good teams are really good throughout the year. It helps you. Keeps momentum from preseason hype. Yeah, but Tech fans are also smart. I don't think they're just mindless dolts who walk around out there. Oh, James Franklin. Oh, did you see what he did to VMI? Oh, we're the best program ever. I mean, I think you're right. It'll be fun. I don't know if a VMI game keeps hype up. I mean, it would have. And would have gotten national attention if James Madison was strolling in there game 1 with Billy Napier off of a playoff berth, and James Franklin has arrived in Blacksburg to revive once proud program. Now that would have been impactful. And if you win that game, then all the hype and all the pomp and circumstance, then that would mean something. As it is, we don't get that. Yeah, getting young guys' feet wet. That's exactly, Tebow, right? I mean, and not getting people hurt in a game like that. Wayne says, we will say we are back. There's no question. You'll be able to go on X when they post the graphic and the score and look at some of the posts, and they'll act like, 100%. You could not be more right, but that's what fans do. But I don't think Tech fans a smart fan, though. Tech fans are smart. I don't think Tech fans will do that as much. I might be right, might be wrong, but you're right. The younger fans will definitely act like it's the biggest thing in the world. And I don't know. Somebody's asking me. I don't know the finances involved. I don't know any of the things involved with VMI. Like, I don't know what they get. Somebody just asked, what's the guaranteed? I don't know. I'm sure those have been renegotiated. But I don't know. If you read X, oh, yes, Tech fan on X is the worst. Yes. And a lot of the accounts that are dedicated to Tech are Very interesting the way they're viewing this whole thing. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Tech fans, for the most part, are smart, but some need to be in mental institutions. Probably true of a lot of fan bases. That's probably true, Tebow, to a certain extent. Hey, Pete, what's going on? Daniel, I don't know. I don't have it. Everybody's out. People are asking me, what's your win total for Tech? I don't know yet. The Vegas has them at 7.5. That sounds about right. I think the front half of the schedule is fairly easy on paper. Back half, not so easy on paper, but who knows? That's why I couldn't. Earlier, I was asked about who I thought might be a favorite for national title. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Tech could develop just like Virginia did last year, just like any program that surprises, right? They may be a lot better than 7.5 wins, right? It could happen. You don't know. The perfect storm could hit. They could be a 9-win team. But, yeah, you know, Wayne, you hit on something that's the whole point of talking about the schedule. What you just said is exactly right. So the fans are not going to take anything less than 7 wins because of the schedule, especially with those first 4 games. The Maryland game is the trigger game for me. That'll tell you how things are progressing. Yeah, I agree, Tebow. I agree. I'm with you. But because of the schedule, Tech fan now is going to say, you know what? Yeah. There'll be an indication of problems if you don't. If you go 6-6, let's just say it the way it is, and there's a lot of unknowns. I will say this, those of you asking about win total, when you look at the schedule on paper and you look at perceivably all the new talent that Franklin has brought in and all the intangibles that go into it, you would expect them to get at least 7 wins. Vegas thinks more, Wayne, to your point, right? They're saying 7.5. But again, I want to see what the league looks like. Nobody thought what, and here's why, you know, Tech fans can also be optimistic. Wake Forest was deemed to be very limited in talent. They were bringing in a new coach from the West Coast. How in the world is that coach going to come to Wake Forest and win in year 1? They won 9 games. Did they win their bowl game? I don't even know. So if Wake Forest can have that type of season, certainly James Franklin at a place that's rededicated itself to football like Tech could put forth that type of season, right? Especially given the schedule. I mean, you can see Tech winning. You can see Tech 9-3. Absolutely. No, Tech will never be on Bama's level. They've been on the national stage one time, and they haven't returned there. They had some really good teams. They had top 15, top 10 teams, really good players. Coach Beamer had it rolling, but they never got back to that level because they had the once in maybe a college football generation talent at quarterback. And everybody's now trying to out materialize the other with pay for play. But they can be the best version of themselves in the ACC. I mean, since Tech got there in 2004, right, they're not necessarily replaced Clemson or Miami or Florida State. And it's been 7 years, going on 8 years since they've been relevant in that league. But it feels different this time because of all the attention paid to it, and you're bringing a guy in who's won at other places, right? Won out of blue blood in Penn State. So you could see 9 wins, and you wouldn't think that would be overachieving. You go, yeah, I could see that. But there's just so many questions. And the Wake Forest example, how many times has Andy Bitter mentioned Wake Forest since he had them dead last, said they wouldn't win but a couple games, and they win 9 games. That's in Virginia. You know, Virginia, and I know a lot of people want to discredit what they did because they brought in all these portal kids. But I didn't hear a lot of hype around the portal kids until I watched them play. And then I found, oh, they brought him in from this play. Oh, look at it. Look at those running backs. Look at those offensive linemen. Oh. Someone sent me a text. You don't hear any hype around UVA this year. Well, I didn't hear any hype about the talent they were bringing in last year either. But here we are, and they just played for an ACC title. That's the biggest question, Thunder. Yeah. I want to see the offensive line be better. And I mean really good. I think there's some backs that are in that offense that can really have impactful seasons, the way James Franklin likes to play. The offensive line has got to come back and be at the forefront of what they're doing 100%. I hear about all this depth. I hear about how they want a starting 5, but they're not there yet. One of the guys are hurt. You can't say we have our starters before you get into spring ball, right? Then you start to develop it. I'm not sure you have them. Maybe over the summer you start to see the development and you have a starting point, but we'll see. Health is a huge factor. And I keep reading every day almost on X, you see about another offensive line kid from some other school go down. He's going to be out for the year. Seems like that's a position that's getting tougher and tougher to keep healthy all across the country. Yeah, and I don't see why they wouldn't be. The quarterback they added, Tebow, they should be. Put utter disdain for the program if you're a Tech fan beside it. Put that away. And, yeah. I mean, the league's hard to predict. And Tech could end up rising right through this thing. 100% they could. I wouldn't feel this way if it were the SEC or the Big Ten, but in the ACC, absolutely. And I don't know if we're going to really know how good Franklin's first team is until you get into the second month. Like I said, the Maryland game is going to tell a lot of people a whole lot. It's the first road game. You can't imagine Old Dominion's going to have the kind of talent. Certainly Ricky Ronnie and James Franklin aren't going to sneak up on one another. They know each other too well. I don't know if he was ever officially offered, but there was a lot of rumors that Ronnie was offered the offensive coordinator job or in discussions with Franklin. Who knows if that actually took place. He quickly accepted his extension, which we told you here on the show he was going to. I mean, you don't raise your kids and at the age of 12 decide to just give them to somebody else. Ricky Ronnie brought Old Dominion into Division I football and has built that program through his own sweat and hard work. You're not just going to walk away from that. I never thought it was going to happen, never considered it. I had people criticize me. What are you talking about? Why wouldn't he follow James Franklin? Well, not everybody's going to follow a guy just because he knows him well and coached with them. If you have your own college football program, that's a pretty good place to be. And you can be at Old Dominion. He got a nice raise. He got a nice bump and pay for play. You got a nice bump for assistance. And now you can continue to develop your program. You're not going to have the pulse pounding pressure of being at a power school. It never made sense to me that Ricky Ronnie was going to leave Old Dominion. It never once made sense. And of course, we were right. We were right. Mike Burnop's going to join us. We're going to talk more about this. I'm going to go let Creed out. I'll be right back. By the way, yesterday, some critter perished late in the evening. I couldn't quite tell what it was. Move in. All right. That's my guy. That's my guy. Mike Burnop's going to join us here, brought to you by Louise Baker. Louise Baker, Long and Foster. And we'll get to Skinny on the first scrimmage. What were they able to do? How much did they do? And who was it? Tebow, you told me, quarterback Grunk, he wasn't available. Is that right? So we'll see. We'll see what all they got accomplished. There's levels of what you're trying to do in each section of the scrimmages, right? So we'll see what they say. So, and I'm guessing, okay, thanks, Tebow. So I'm guessing, all right, let's just say it. I mean, I can't imagine that you're going to go into it without your starting quarterback and think you're going to get a whole lot accomplished, right? Right? I mean, I think that changes everything. Yeah, and I think that's the way it is, Wayne, for fans who are tied in with their school. Sure. And there are unrealistic Tech fans. Sure. There are unrealistic everybody fans in every sport. But win or lose, Tech fan has been there filling that stadium. And I guess I've always known it, but when they put 11 o'clock against Wofford, what was the attendance of that game? Wasn't that 62,000? Was that right? Whatever it was, that was wow. Wofford. That's a team you hope doesn't show up on the schedule again either. That epitomized what Tech fans all about, in my opinion. Wasn't it 62? Am I wrong? Wasn't it? Is that right? Didn't they put 62,000 people in the stands against Wofford at 11? Is that right? That blows my mind. That just blows my mind. And that tells you all you need to know about Tech fan. And that's why I hope for all of you and Tech fans that are so loyal, that's why I hope things work out the way you dream them to. I'm always going to be let's wait and see type of fan and person. I'm never going to, for instance, back when UCLA hired Chip Kelly, okay? A lot of the same things were said and written about Kelly to UCLA that I'm seeing with Franklin to Tech. Was he successful in the NFL? Except Franklin doesn't have the NFL experience. But was he successful in the NFL? No. But what he did at Oregon is unprecedented. He was known as being an offensive guru. He was ready to go back to college football, and he was ready to go tackle it and adapt and be at a place that put in a lot of new resources at the time, and he failed miserably. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Franklin at all. But I thought, okay, well, Chip Kelly, UCLA, that's probably going to work, right? I don't know if they'll catch USC. I remember saying to myself, I don't know if they'll ever catch USC, but they should be pretty good. They were never good. They were never good. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be Tech's fate at all, but I'm always going to be, let's see how it plays out. And I know that may not be the answer a lot of people want to hear, but I want to watch and see things develop. And then at the end, you tip your hat. Like with Wake Forest, you tip your hat. Virginia, you tip your hat. Big Al says, if Tech can make the ACC championship game in a bowl game, you'll be at 400 consecutive games this season. Wow, that's awesome. 62,000. Look at that. Wayne, I was off by 43. Does that mean I win the Price is Right double showcase? Ding, 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 ding. With the Price is Right gals coming up and the music playing. Da-da, 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 da-da. I think it was announced to sell out, but 63 is probably more. Yeah, 62,043. That blows my mind. And that says all you need to know about Tech fans right there. And I met so many of them over the years doing the tailgate. Great people, shared a lot of great food with me. And they'll be there full flung. That's why I think Prometheus is right. It'll probably sell out first game. Sure. I don't know. Somebody just asked, Todd, how you doing on the text line, professional door text line? I don't know. 40,000 to me will be the cap for spring game. I'm just throwing out a number. You asked the question. I'll just give you a number. And I think that would be excellent. No, I don't believe they'll get anywhere near 60,000, but I think 40,000, maybe 45, somewhere along that. Now, who's going to be there and what they're going to announce will be two different things. I mean, that's the way it works. Because they're going to build it up to be bigger than it was because they want to show the impact of it. But 40,000 or so would be my guess. And I think that would be a successful day. Plus, you have all the other sports that are going on at the same time. So there's a whole lot that's going on around all of that. And that's what always makes it fun, right? Because you have a culmination of the spring game, the run for remembrance, and then you have all those other sports. It's really cool. And you got something to do basically the entire weekend if you come back for just the spring game. But I would say confidently, I'd say 40,000. But yeah, because attendance is free, it's going to be hard to get an exact number. But you can best believe they're going to report a lot higher number than actually there. That's what happens everywhere. All right, joining us now on the program, there he is. He is Mike Burnop, the Hall of Famer, the greatest tight end in Tech football history. Brought to you by Louise Baker, Logan Foster. I'm still going to say that. I don't care. It's true. What's up, brother? How are you?
How you doing there, Rick? Good morning. Everything's good in the hood, man. It's finally warming up a little bit.
Yeah.
After Sunday getting frost on the pumpkin, it was like, man, what in the world?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
It was chilly out there Saturday watching the scrimmage too. I'm telling you, that was the wind blows. You know how that goes.
Yeah. Well, let's get right into it. Of course, Mike Burnop brought to you by Louise Baker, Louise Baker Team Long and Foster. What did you see? Now, we got somebody in chat said Grunkmeyer was under the weather and didn't play. Is that right?
That's correct. He was battling that crud half the people got. So he did not participate in the practice, but They gave a lot of reps to the freshman out of California. Troy Hune, he was good. He he throws a nice pass, Rick, and looked really really good out there. And they moved AJ Brand to receiver, and gosh, I tell you what, that kid, he had some really nice catches and he picked it up quickly. So I think that was a good move for him to try to get him on the field. And yeah, I thought Bryce Baker didn't look too bad. He had some good throws, and they mix them up, with different combinations of offensive linemen and all that sort of stuff, and one defense, two defense, all that sort of thing. But all in all, I thought it went pretty well. They have a third and fourth down scrimmage where they go short yardage stuff. Third and like 1, third and 3, third and 4, and then fourth and all that kind of stuff. And they ran, I think it was 22 plays in that scrimmage, and it was 10-10 at one point, and they ran two more plays, and the defense got them both times. And so the defense actually won that. So that was kind of good, but it was good to see that both of them, both sides of the ball have their goods and bads. They'll have some good plays, bad plays, and after practice, Coach Franklin always gets up there and he lets the announcements be made. And so the officials were there, Rick, and they're there at every practice. And the officials went over stuff, what they saw in the scrimmage, some of the new rules in terms of penalties, that sort of thing. And that was good to hear. And then Brent Pry got up and he talked for this. The defensive coordinator got up and talked, and he said, the offense is doing, you said, you guys are doing great stuff. Your formations, your combinations, what you're doing and making it really difficult to defend. That's good. And then, when Ty Howe, the offensive coordinator, got up there, he kind of said the same thing. The defense, he said, you guys are doing different things with your stunts and your loops and your blitzes and packages, this package and that package. And he said, you're hard to pick apart. And so I thought that was encouraging on both sides of the ball, that, both sides are having their days. But it's not lopsided one or the other. And so I think that was good. So, yeah, I thought it was a good practice. They were out there quite a while. They spent a little bit of time, about half of the practice in the indoor and outdoor practice fields, and then they went into the stadium for the last part. Had about 50 or 60 more recruits there again. They opened it up to the families of the athletic department and players, so there were quite a few people around again. Not as many maybe as the week before, but it was good. All in all, good. And they're going to go this week today, and then they're going to practice Friday and let them have Easter, Saturday, and Sunday off. So if they want to go home, the ones that live close enough by, just give them a little bit of break.
So they'll have the scrimmage today. Yeah, it makes sense, right? Because
no, not one today. They're not going to scrimmage today.
I
think Friday they're going to get after it a little bit. Yes.
Okay. So it's Friday today, and then let them go. Okay, that makes sense.
And let them go home Saturday, Sunday, and come back and get ready for the last 2 weeks.
That's good. That's good to hear. Well, we were talking about the offensive line here in chat. What did you see? How'd those guys look, the different guys, the different combinations that you saw up front?
Yeah, I think they got a lot of talent there, Rick. They're switching them up. I think there's a good depth there. There's great competition between both the offense and defensive lines. So I'm encouraged by that. I think Matt Moore does a great job with that. And they've been solid so far. They do a good job protecting the quarterback in most cases. Again, the quarterback's not live, but yeah, I think they're coming along. I think they're meshing well.
Tight ends, people asking, how did those guys flourish? The Reynolds kid, people seem very excited about him amongst all the other newcomers. How did all those guys look?
Yeah, he's good. He's a good player. He's big, got good hands, solid. Jerikas Harrison took a shot out there. One of the first or second plays of the scrimmage, and I'm not sure he came back in. He's okay, but just kind of rang his bell pretty good. And it was Tyson Flowers, I think, the kid that hit him. He's a veteran too, and he can deliver a punch. But Cole Reemschneider had some good catches too. I think that room is really, really good when you got Jerikas, you got Luke, you got Benji Gosnell, you got Cole and Reemschneider, and you got Harry St. Germain. They got some talent. A lot of times you'll see about 3 of them on the field. So I think that's a position of depth. And, those guys can be really important because they got to be kind of a Swiss Army knife. They got to be able to block. They got to be able to run routes. They got to get free in the secondary, and so yeah, it's they got some depth there now.
Yeah, that's the thing that excites me the most about Franklin's offense. I remember watching those Penn State teams, Mike, and you and I probably talked about it over the years. You would always go, wow, they always have good tight ends, right? So it's going to feel good to see that coming back in that offense.
Yeah, no doubt. And they always got a bunch of them in the league too, in the NFL. So he's done a great job through his career developing those guys and getting it going. And I'll say this about Coach Franklin. You talk about a guy that's engaged in practice now. He never stops. He is always on the move, complimenting guys when they do something good. He's on them when they do something bad. It was so funny the other day. There was a pick six in the scrimmage, and Coach Franklin was running down the field with the guy that made the interception. I thought, man, that's pretty good energy there now. So he gets after it. And then there was another play where one of the receivers made a good catch, and one of the more veteran defensive guys came in there, and he kind of cut his legs out. Boy, he got hot. He was missed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He said, get off the field. We don't do that to our own players, our teammates. We don't do that. And so he made him go to the sideline and sit. He was mad about that. So he wants to protect those guys and, do everything he can to keep everybody healthy and safe and keep it clean. And, game day will be something different. But, in practice, no, you don't mess with your own teammates.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun to see.
Mike Burnop joining us on the program thanks to Louise Baker, the Louise Baker team, Long and Foster. Yeah, and with the quarterback not being available, maybe it shifted some things a little bit. But do you feel like overall they were able to adapt pretty well and get things accomplished they wanted to? Now that'll change, I know, as we go forward now week by week.
Yeah, it will. But, I think they're developing well, and all of them are getting a shot. I think they're going to have some pretty good depth there. And so, I think, they're in a good position. I don't think they're in a position they'd like to be in where they'd have another veteran quarterback that had a little more experience, but that's just the way it is. And, you got to hope that those guys can stay healthy unless they decide to try to pick somebody else up.
And despite he couldn't play, I know you've been impressed, right, what you can see from Grunkmeyer. We haven't seen a lot yet, but I know you kind of he showed it on the field last year in major games. So this guy I think is going to come in. I think it's going to be a pretty seamless transition for him.
Yeah, he's good. He throws a really nice pass. He gets the ball out of his hand quick, nice tight spiral. He hits the guys in stride, puts the ball in their fingertips. He's very talented and very solid. He's a good player, no doubt.
So he's one that if you're sick, okay, we kind of know what you can do. We're going to let you just get better. We don't need to get you out there right?
That's it. And let the young guy get the reps. And, boy, he took advantage of it. That's what spring practice is all about. You can't really do that in the fall that much in terms of that. But you can get the work in the spring and get those reps. And, boy, he got a bunch of reps. So he and Baker, they got a lot of them. And so that was kind of good to see.
Anybody else stand out you made? I know you keep notes. Anybody else that you looked at that maybe we're not talking about that you were like, uh-oh, watch out. This is kind of nice to see this developing.
Some of the guys, that Jeff Exenor, he's pretty good. That wide receiver, he's fast. And you look at Brown, the transfer that came in from Duke. A lot of people are talking about him. Man, you talk about fast now, quick as lightning. That guy's going to be a force. Put him in the slot or wherever. Probably going to return punts. He's really, really talented and good. And I'm telling you, he can get some separation from those defensive backs. He's fast. And so I think those two guys, Takai Heath made some nice catches in the scrimmage, and Aiden Green's been solid. I think that a couple of running backs kind of had stood out pretty well. This kid named, I think it's Bill Davis. He's from Louisiana. He's been a little bowling ball out there. That guy's been pretty good. And, Jeffrey Overton looked good the other day. I think they got some talent to spread around. So, it's been good.
Did you get a vibe on how they're going to what they want to try to do this coming week, or does it kind of stay the same MO? Would they try to implement a few more things in scrimmage number 2?
Yeah, they're just going to continue to put a little bit more on their plate, get a little more into the offense, but in defense. But it's it's a lot about fundamentals and just doing things correctly.
Sure.
And this is what that's for this time of year. And so, yeah, they do implement a little bit more every practice, every scrimmage, and that sort of thing. But they definitely want to make sure that they got the fundamentals down.
Yeah, that's what Coach Rags was talking about yesterday with Marty. He just talked about you just went over. Some days you just went over the fundamentals the whole practice, right? Because that's going to transfer over into when it becomes real. It's important. We don't think about that enough, but it is. It's so vital, isn't it? The fundamentals.
It's all about the blocking and tackling, man. It's all comes down to that, and who can win the line of scrimmage, and the important things. The little steps here. If you misstep or you don't line up correctly, or he got on them about that a little bit. Too many penalties on the offense. Some pre-snap penalties, not lined up correctly, or you jump the snap, just trying to anticipate that the defense is coming after you. Those little things like that, and they'll throw the flags quite frequently in spring and fall practice when they come back, just to get them and make sure you understand this is the way it's going to be. And I'd rather you learn this now than during the game time when it could be a costly penalty.
Oh, 100%. I love the fact that I love that development. You have actual officials out there helping teach the guys a little bit about what we're going to be calling, what you need to, what you cannot do. That's so vital. You see it across the country, but I really like the fact that there are officials that do that. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's good to see.
Yeah, it's good. And then after practice, they'll explain to you.
Yeah.
A couple of players ask questions. What about this? What about this? Swim move, holding, all those sorts of things. And they go through it and they tell them and explain it to them. And, I think Coach Franklin and those coaches are very appreciative of that.
Well, we'll see how their week goes. And looking at basketball, of course, we now know that Neo will officially not be here next year going into the portal. Just some of your thoughts on that? I guess it's not a real surprise for a lot of people. Never really lived up to the expectation coming in.
Yeah, I mean, it was an adjustment for sure for him. And I'm not sure exactly what he's going to do. I don't know if he'll go to the NBA and test the waters again just to see where he stands out. But we'll wait and see. I think he did go back home for now, and I'm not sure if he's working with personal trainer or what he's doing, but I was not shocked to see that happen. Isaiah Pasha, same thing. He's a kid that had a really good freshman year and just never could kind of get going here. Couldn't get him up to snuff, and so he hit the portal first. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I know there are people out there that'll pay Neo probably a lot more money than he made here, which is one thing. I mean, look at what happened to Stojakovic right now. Kid was out at Cal, now he's at Illinois, thriving. And so he's such a tough matchup. So, I hope it'll work out for Neo. I don't think he's ready for the NBA, although when you look at the talent of some of those freshmen that have been playing at the NCAA tournament, it's pretty staggering, the difference in some of those guys. So I hope it'll work out for him, and he'll get better for it, and he'll get more used to the American game, and maybe a new system will be good for him. Who knows?
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes you just find a better fit. It can
and
be.
People got to understand too, Rick. He's still young.
Yeah.
He's. You look at DeRitter from UVA. I mean, the kid's 23 years old or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and even though he's got all that eligibility left, but Neo played over there, and he was coming in as a freshman, and I'm sure it was a shock to the system, to the physicality of the game and the way the American game is played. So, he learned a lot, and I'm sure he took it to heart, and he's got it in his memory bank for sure.
People asking on text line about other guys. We don't know. It's just speculation, about how the rest of the roster might look in terms of guys going in the portal. Who knows? It's usually a personal decision, isn't it? They don't necessarily go out and advertise it. Just kind of you look up one day and you find out that guy's into the portal. So
yeah, and Coach, I'm sure he's had his conversations with every one of those players about the future. And a guy like Ben Hammond and Monty Hansberry, you think how valuable they would be to another team that has a lot of money, right? So they're going to have to probably ante up for them. Tyler Johnson, same thing. But you're really only losing the two, the Toby Lowell and obviously Bedford. But he's, applied just like some of these other kids have on this JUCO years. He's trying to maybe possibly get another year of eligibility. We'll see how that lands. And I think Mike Young will welcome him back if that happened. But yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting in the next couple of weeks to see how that all unfolds when the portal opens.
What's your thoughts on the Final Four? I mean, the UConn shot is going to live in infamy forever, right? This one actually went against Duke. We see the Leitner shot every year. Now we're going to see what happened at the end of the UConn-Duke game.
Yeah, that to me is just a shocker how they didn't understand the basic stuff. Just hold the ball and get fouled. I mean, much basketball as those guys have played, I mean, you feel bad for them. You feel bad for the ACC. I had Duke winning it all. I had Duke and Purdue, and I had Michigan and Florida. So I didn't do too good in that regard either. But I thought Duke would win it all. I thought they had the best team, especially when those guys came back and got healthy and started playing again. But, you can't, 19-point lead, you just can't let that slip away and have a play at the end of the game when you got the game won and just turn the ball over. That's the last thing you can do. I mean, he could have thrown the ball up as high as he could, Rick, in that arena and let it hit the ground, and the 5 seconds would have probably ticked off, right? Just throw it up like you're celebrating.
That's exactly right. Just throw it. Don't throw it out of bounds. Just kind of loft it up there.
Yeah. Or just throw it up there as high as you can throw it and let it hit the ground. By then, the game's over. Yeah. So it doesn't – the clock, that was just really sad and poor. But you got to give that kid credit, man. You talk about going up there as a freshman and making that shot. That'll go down in history, and he'll probably never buy another lunch or dinner in Michigan.
No. And that was a legitimate 30-plus footer. I mean, wow. But anyway.
Yeah, so, we'll see what happens with Connecticut. That's going to be an interesting game. I still think the game they'll have the champion will be Michigan, Arizona. Those two teams are really good. I mean, they just had blowouts.
I know. I hate that they're not playing against one another in the final. I mean, I hate that they don't get that chance. I think we're going to be robbed of it in the semifinal. But
I agree. I think so too.
Yeah. All right, brother. Listen, have a great week, and I know you're excited because it's warm around the house, and you get to do a lot of stuff around your yard now, right? You're getting ready to get fired up and getting going, right?
Heck yeah! This weekend I'll be out there doing a little more stuff, and since they're not going to practice Saturday, I'll have 2 days out in the old yard. So hopefully it won't rain and get some more stuff done. I got sticks everywhere and all kinds of stuff laying around the yard. You got to get picked up, and it'll be fun. Be nice to have some warm weather, though. Gets a grill working, and that'll be a good day.
Absolutely. That'll be a good day. And as always, we want to give a shout out to Louise Baker. Baker, Team Long and Foster. Yeah.
She's the best. I haven't got to talk to her lately. I'm going to send her a text, make sure she's doing okay, and see how she's been. But, I'm sure it's a busy time for her, too, man, when houses go on the market in the spring and, tech professors find out if they got tenure or getting retained or not and all that sort of stuff.
That's right.
You just never know. So I hope she's busy and doing well.
It's important. Well, listen, man, you have a great Easter weekend, and we will talk to you again next week. Appreciate it.
Sounds good, Rick. Yep, you too, and enjoy your weekend.
All right, brother. Take care. There you go.
All right.
That's Mike Burnop, the Hall of Famer. Mike has been part of this thing since, we started back in 2001. Good stuff. And a good review of the scrimmage, I thought, right? So it sounds positive, good stuff to hear, even without your quarterback. Sounds like some guys caught Mike's attention, so that's awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, I don't think we're going to hook up with Scott today. We'll try to reschedule. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but that's the way it works sometimes. Yeah. I want to thank all of our sponsors again. Thanks to the NRB Super Bowl. Give them a call anytime, 540-382-5525. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply at 381-8011. Thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel. I want to thank all the folks at Sundown Electric and for all the wonderful support that they give us. That's a great logo, by the way. one of the best reputations of anybody in the region, to be honest with you. And brothers continuing their father's business, I think that's so cool. And it's what we see a lot with a lot of the folks who are supporting the program, like Professional Door Incorporated and with Travis Williams. And everything that they bring to the table is terrific, and we appreciate them. They're now a regionally successful company. They've been around for 38 years. Travis's dad started it, and he has taken it to different heights. It's so cool. The Ready Set Fund with Bob Chris, we appreciate their support. And it's something that really helps out in terms of especially a lot of local high school programs that just don't have a budget. And that's a series of text messages that they will go out and achieve, and it's awesome. It's awesome. So we appreciate them for all of their support. Pulaski County Sports Entertainment is the presenting sponsor of this program, and we appreciate everything about them. Beyond the racetrack and everything that's coming up, warm weather has them excited. I'm going to reach out to Jonathan, try to see if we can get him on this week. National Bank, member FDIC. They are the exclusive banking partner for me and this program. Just finalized some stuff I've been working on. I've been talking about it here on the show for the last couple of weeks, and finally got everything finalized with them yesterday. They were terrific to work with in my refinancing. I couldn't have asked for a better partner. Ryan Price, the attorney, our BDST fan question of the week. Who's going to come out of the Final Four Saturday? Who's going to be playing on Monday night? 701 West Main Street in Radford, Trust and Estate Planning. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. We're going to have some warm weather for a while, and you need to reach out. Charles Lee in Little River. I mean, when you have something that you use here that I utilize, and I always kind of get like this dread when I know I have to have work done because you don't know if you're going to find honest people. You don't know. I just had it with my roof, by the way, in Sinvar. But Charles Lee, I mean, nothing stressed me out more when I got back from the basketball trip and didn't have heating or air. And they came in and said, well, this is what happened. Look, you got hit by lightning. Look at this thing. It's fried. You're going to have new units. So we turned it in to homeowners. They took care of it. And it was just, they were not even 3 full days. They are the absolute best. Mark Hundley, McClellan Chiropractic, sponsor of our chat room. And chat is so much fun to have everybody in there every day. I mean, it's awesome to talk to everybody. And then the very first sponsor that we were able to sign when we brought the show back was Family Fencing. 540-200-8294, familyfencingnrv.com.
And I look like Batman. Batman, you are going to pay for your treachery. Do you think you can beat me?
Why did I make him sound like Yoda there?
Batman, I will.
when your Bane impersonation turns into Batman. I mean, turns into Yoda. I'm sorry. Made myself laugh there. Totally Yoda, wasn't it? Why did it develop into? I'd had a pretty good Bane going, right? Why did it go into Yoda? I don't know. Maybe I'll bring out Yoda again tonight when we're well past 9 o'clock in the midweek between Tech and Radford baseball. Yeah, first of 2 games between the Hokies and the Highlanders. You know, we hear that in our open, Hokies and the Highlanders. Yoda versus Batman.
Shrouded in mystery you will be.
Please subscribe, like, and share the channel wherever you might be. And it's good to have the old studio back. I'm so glad that StreamYard responded. Brandon says, if you bring that out, let me know so I can tune into the broadcast. Should I do an entire half inning in Yoda?
Throw a pitch on the outside corner, he will.
Yeah, I'm going to have to work on my Bane. I don't know what happened there. Well, when impersonation's naturally involved, then I guess that's what they were all along. Yoda like Vicky Vale. Take Vicky for Bruce Wayne.
Get into all of that when he will. Fall over the left field wall, it did. Mark as a home run in my scorecard, I will.
Sorry. But yeah, check us out tonight. If you're a Tech fan, Radford fan, on ESPN Plus. Discussion today. It was a lot of fun today. I liked our blue blood conversation.
Force is in his bat, it is.
Sorry, I could go. I might just do that tonight. Both teams 500, by the way, Tech baseball and Radford baseball. But you don't see your weekend pitching usually in a midweek, so things get a little interesting for midweek games. But anyway, good stuff today. Thanks to everybody. We appreciate you. Thanks to Marva and to Mike. We'll try to figure out when we can get Scot Thomas back on. Brian Siegel will be back next week. He's traveling. Tomorrow we'll have Keon, Damian Sordelette, and some other things cooking too. We'll see if it pans out. Hopefully David Teal can join us, and we'll let you know. Just watch for our billboard and our social medias. But everybody enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you on the flip side. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the sunshine. It's going to be bright and warm, and come out tonight. I think Morris is coming out. Come out tonight if you want to watch Tech and Radford baseball in a beautiful setting. I've been trying to get you out there, Tech fan. You got your team coming in, and you will leave Williams Field, and you'll go, that's really nice. It's a really nice atmosphere, especially at night when things are green. They're not green yet. They're getting there. They're getting there. But everybody take care. We'll see you tomorrow on the Wednesday edition.